You might not be aware of this or not, but this coming weekend, Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves hits movie theaters. Somehow, Rotten Tomatoes is allowing an audience score for this movie already. I'm not sure why that's allowed. Usually, they don't allow audiences to rank this movie or any movie until it gets its release date, but they've allowed some people to come in and review Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves early, unless it's actually out everywhere, which I haven't seen. It got select releases earlier, but you can see on the poster here, I can read it at least. I'm not sure if you can. It says only in theaters March 31st. So usually Rotten Tomatoes doesn't allow this, but they're letting it happen for this. And oddly enough, it's sitting at 94%. Maybe it is a good movie. I don't know. All I know is I've been turned off on watching this movie ever since I read this article. The Dungeons & Dragons movie intentionally emasculates its leading men. Now, if this is not the case, and it's actually a fun movie, shame on these people for going out and being stupid. This is from the writing team, doing their best to sabotage the movie, in my opinion, with bullshit like this, because this turns off people. A lot of people are sick of this kind of shit with movies, with these Nancy men. They don't want to see movies like this. And when you come out and say this, and you even say, oh, it's not woke. We promised that we didn't do this to be woke. We did this because we wanted to be funny and fresh. It's right here. After reiterating that the reasons did not pertain to woke thinking, the pair explained that they wrote the men that way because they find it funny and fresh. What's funny and fresh about this? We've seen this time and time again with emasculated men in movies and in TV and in media in general. What you did was kill off a large portion of people that would probably want to go see this at the movies. This was dumb to come out and say. Should have never said it. All you did was create controversy for yourself. But here we are. So I find it odd that this score exists here. It's nothing but positive scores, too. 4.4 out of 5 average rating. There is an all audience, too. They're just letting people review this. This is strange. This doesn't happen anymore. They changed this for Captain Marvel. Never forget that. Rotten Tomatoes changed their policy for Captain Marvel. Critics like it 91% fresh. That's a big red flag to me. I don't know. What I do know is that this movie is likely going to get crushed by John Wick 4. In fact, we have some estimates on that. Dungeons & Dragons box office estimates worse than Shazam Fury of the Gods. Shazam is limping across the box office. It's lucky it even made $100 million. It had the worst drop for a DC movie ever. It's embarrassing. And I've heard it's not even that bad. I don't think it deserves a lot of the hate that it's getting. I think it's just the unfortunate circumstance of what's going on with DC right now. But nonetheless, it is bombing badly. And if this movie turns out to be worse than that one, that's bad. Another comedic, goofy movie looks to bite the dust, similar to recent releases from DC and Marvel. Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves opens next week with its box office predicted to massively flop, even worse than Shazam Fury of the Gods, a similar goofy type of comedic movie also featuring dragons. Fury of the Gods opened last week to only $30.1 million. And the latest forecast for Honor Among Thieves has the flick opening at $21 through $30 million range. Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves cost around $151 million to make, so those numbers aren't good by any means, which is actually more than the $100 million budget for Shazam Fury of the Gods. So that would mean Fury of the Gods needs to make about $500 million to make its money back. That means with $151 million for Dungeons and Dragons, it probably needs to make around $550 to $600 million to make its money back. It's tough to say, really. There's some good people with numbers that will probably break this down, like Valiant Renegade. He's pretty good with that kind of stuff. My guesstimate, though, is that it needs to make $550 million just to break even. And I don't think that that's going to happen. So this is going to be a huge flop. And they should honestly blame those writers for running around saying stupid shit. Because I've actually heard that the movie is okay, Dungeons and Dragons. But the problem is when you go out and you say shit like this about emasculating your characters, you put a huge red flag out there. This instantly turns me off to wanting to see this movie. I'm not going to rush out to see this movie. And I originally thought the trailer looked kind of fun. But I'm not going to go rush to see this movie now. Now I need to wait and see what people say about it before I even think about watching this. Because I'm tired of watching shit like this. And I'm not the only one. I would imagine there's a large portion of my audience that watches this channel regularly that probably agree with me. So I'm just saying, people are tired of this. And it's not going to help this box office, I can tell you that. This movie already had an uphill battle coming out against John Wick. John Wick is a juggernaut. I would imagine John Wick keeps the #1 spot next weekend. I don't think that that's a crazy idea. So Dungeons and Dragons costs around $151 million to make. Estimates from the Box Office Pro, who revised their numbers from higher estimates just a couple of weeks ago, as tracking had Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves opening between $23 million and $30 million. For a comparison, they estimated Shazam 37 through $46 million at the time. But now the potential numbers are a bit lower on the worst-case scenario side. The flick also faces tough competition from the Super Mario Brothers movie that opens only 5 days later on Wednesday, April 5th. So families might be saving their spare change to see Mario in action and might not want to spring for two family-friendly flicks in less than 1 week. Oh, that's right. Mario is coming out. Oh, now that I can't wait to see. I'm actually really excited to see that Mario movie. I'm really excited to see that Mario movie. This is disastrous for this brand. So John Wick, still running hot. Going to be the only real big movie in theaters this weekend. Going to crush this movie. And then 5 days later, for the next weekend, Mario is going to come in and pound this movie into oblivion. So this movie will probably debut at #2. John Wick, I would imagine, keeps #1 this weekend. It comes in at #2. And then during the third weekend of John Wick, which will be this movie's second weekend, you're going to see Mario, John Wick. That movie will get pushed to #2 because Mario's going to be a juggernaut. I think Mario could make $1 billion. So Mario, John Wick, and then probably this movie at #3. It's going to have a humongous second week drop. It's bad. So as they point out here, will it bomb? I don't know. I think it hits 30 million opening weekend and then it falls off a cliff. That's what I think happens. But never underestimate the global box office. They could maybe be into this. I don't know. It'll be funny to watch this movie's box office. But like Ant-Man, just because it has a good opening weekend doesn't mean it'll have any legs. You know as well as I know, Mario is going to crush this movie no matter what. So, I mean, sorry. You killed a lot of your good faith on this, if there even was any, with this comment. So anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think about all of this. I'd like to hear from you in the comments. Also, if you would please like, subscribe, share the video. Make sure you still are subscribed. Check out my Rumble and Locals, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace. Make sure to check out my Locals. There's a link in the description. It's a fun community that I'm trying to build over here. If you don't want to support me on YouTube, you can come over here. None of that money goes to YouTube. You also can just come over here for free. But if you are a supporter over here, I do plan on doing an extra live stream once a month and throwing links to the supporters so you can actually come on and have a supporter live stream with me. Also, it's a good place to catch all of my content. You don't have to worry about notifications like YouTube. They'll definitely work over here. So come check out my locals.